Mazel tov to the Liebman Mishpacha on their newest edition on the birth of a baby girl. So we're going to do the Chabura in honor schus for the baby who Mirz Hashem will be named tomorrow. So we were holding in the Gemara in the sugya of Makos be'esr mishlosha. So the Gemara says that there's a machlokes tanoim. The Mishnah has a machlokes tanoim. How many dayanim you need for lashes, for malchus? Tana Kama holds it's 3, and Rabbi Yishmael holds it's 23. So the Gemara says, my time with Rabbi Yishmael. Where does Rabbi Yishmael get off this idea that Makos should need 23? It's not Dinei Nefashos. 23 we only find in the realm of Dinei Nefashos. So the Gemara says, my time with Rabbi Yishmael, Amar Abai, Asya, Rasha, Mechive, Misas. Xer Shavet, Rasha, from Chayve, Misas. The pasuk over here that we've dealt with so in the past few weeks, the source of Makos, V'hayim ben Akos Rasha. Uksiv Hasam, and it also says by Dine Nefashos Asher Haya Rasha Lamos, as it says Rasha by Misa, Malahalam Be'esrim Mishlosha, Avkan Be'esrim Mishlosha. Just like over there is 23 Dayanim, so too over here is 23 Dayanim. Rava Amar, the bottom of Yudam and Aleph. Rava says, no, you don't need any drushes. You don't need any Gzeir Shavas. Not that Rava doesn't hold to the Gzeir Shavah, but that's what Tosas deals with in Dir Maschel Rava. You have to deal with because there are other things that Rava needs to learn from the Gzeir Shavah. This halacha of needing 23 Dayanim, he didn't need to derive it from Gzeir Shavah. Rava says it's a Svara. What? Malkus b'makom misa omedes. So Rava said Malkus b'makom misa omedes. So we started discussing last week, what does that bechlal mean, Malchus Makom Misa Omedes? I know it was a very interesting, thought-provoking issue that many people came up to me throughout the week to discuss some of the pshatim of the Rishonim here. Malchus Makom Misa Omedes. Rashi says, Rashi says, scary Rashi. Tekevan da Avar al Azaras Boro. Once a person goes against any lav in the Torah, anything that the Rebbeinu Shalom said is aser, Roihu Lamos. Really, in theory, he should have been killed. Kaput. You go against the king, you're done. Yet what? The Torah is mechadesh that, you know what, a stam lav we're going to give malchus. But it's considered really misa. Misa zu knas alav akasav. Vareyu ka'achas men misas. And this is just like one of the 4 categories of capital punishment. Just like stoning is one category, streif b'fnei atzmo, hereg b'fnei atzmo, malchus nami ka'achas men misas. This is a 5th category of misa. That's what the Gemara is coming to be mechadesh. So Taisus was very uncomfortable with Rashi's chiddush, that Rashi held that the default is when a person rebels against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, every lav in the Torah in theory should have been a misa, because Tosfos comes from the school of thought that we've all come from, that malchus by definition, a lav by definition, the fact that it doesn't have capital punishment, puts it on a different tier. Puts it on a lower level. And if a person, a chola, needs to eat something, so we're going to say, don't violate the lav. Don't violate the chi of misa. First violate the lav, because it's not as severe. So how can this Tana now disagree with everything we've been taught from childhood that malchus is really in the same par, malchus makom misa omedes? So that's why Tosfos says, yesh mefarshim mishum dibnei noyach azarasan zui misasan. V'nitenes liyisrael malchus al azaraso tachas misa d'vnei noach. Tosfos says you can't go with Rashi. Tosfos starts with the yesh mefarshim. Because what do you mean? Every lav is really supposed to be a misa? Come on, that's not what it means. Rather, what we find by certain individuals violating an azhara, violating an isser, automatically, no matter what the isser is, gives you misa. Where do you find that? Says Tosfos by bnei noach. By Bnei Noach, no matter what they do wrong, the Gemara says later on in the 7th perek, Azaros and Zui Misasam. And they don't even have a second repetition. The Torah, when it comes to Jews, the Torah has to teach, in one parsha, the Torah has to teach Azhara, and then it teaches the Einish. Ein Einshin Elen Kein Mazhirin. We can't give a punishment unless we give you a Azhara, a warning. So by Jews that's the case, but by Goyim it's not true. Once there's a Shev Mitzvah Noach, once you're violating one of the Noachai laws, boom, kaput, you're done, and you get one misa. Which misa? Sayif. You get your head chopped off for each one. So Tosfos says, since we find already precedents for the idea that what? That an azhara, a lav, a lo sase alone could sometimes give a person misa. So therefore, even by a yid, when it comes to malchus, that the lo sasi doesn't kill you, but the lo sasi gives you lashes, it's b'makom miso medis. So we were scratching our heads last week. We were saying, ma'in and shmita yitzar sinai. What do you want to tell us from Bnei Noach to Klal Yisrael? What do our rule books have anything to do? So that's what we suggested, a mahalach last week, that we suggested an idea that perhaps a lav is different, that gives malchus, is different than the prohibitions that give misas bezdin. When it comes to the prohibitions that gives misas bezdin, there's something actually physically wrong, and there's a contamination in the world and a pgam that exists that with that avera. When you're mechalo Shabbos, it's not just that you're going against the word of God. You're actually creating an entity here that is something that needs a tikkun in the world, and that's why you need an onesh of misas bezdin, not to punish you. We could punish you in many different ways. Why do we need? We need to cleanse you. We need to fix that blemish that was created in the world. There's something inherently wrong with those isurim that we spoke about last week. Whereas perhaps when it comes to a regular lo sasi, when it comes to malchus, so then the general isur is, that's what the Ramban said, you violated something the Rabbeinu Shalom said. It's not specifically the basar v'cholav that you ate. It's not specifically the nevela that's the problem, but rather we can give a more general onish because you were married against the Rabbeinu Shalom. You rebelled against the Rabbeinu Shalom. And that's why it's fascinating. When it comes to Malkios, when it comes to all of the lavim and the losases that get lashes, the Torah never expresses the onish. The Torah just says, don't eat basar v'cholav. The Torah just says, don't eat nevelas. We derive on our own. And what's the punishment? So we have a default. We have a clause. Whenever the Torah just said don't do something, you get lashes. It gives off the impression over here that it's not that there's a specific punishment that needs to be directed towards this individual that did a specific transgression. There's no specificity over here when it comes to this avera. It's a more general merit, and if that's the case, that's what Taisus we suggested. That's exactly what Taisus is comparing to Bnei Noach. It's not just you read this Taisus arbitrarily. Since we find by Bnei Noach that they're killed for a lav, so too by Jews that malchus is considered killing. What does one have to do with the other? The answer is no. Bnei Noach, the reason their heads are chopped off is because they're being married by malchus. There's no entity called misas bezdin when it comes to Bnei Noach. We suggested last week. There's a halacha that you're married with the king. What happens when a person's married in the king and he rebels against the king? His head gets chopped off. That's why all of them get one punishment. Nidayin b'sayif. That's why they lose their property. The king gets their property. That's the halacha when it comes to misas Bnei Noach. Says Rabbi Yishmael, perhaps all Malkias fall into that category. But then Tosfos continues. That was V'oidei shloimar mishum dezimnin mesin al yedei Malkis. Tosfos has a brand new pshat. Tosfos says, I'd like to suggest a brand new pshat. A very practical pshat. Why is Malkis tachas misa omedes? Why is it that Malkis lashes need 23 dayanim? Because sometimes you go too far and the guy is not tough enough to hack the malchus, and kaput, he's done from the lashes. So therefore, Tosfos says, it's tachas miso medis, because maybe this guy's going to die. I've seen cases, says Tosfos, that the guy did not survive the lashes, and he died. That's what Tosfos says. Very practical approach to the Gemara. So Mela, that's Rava's reason within Rabbi Yishmael why you need 23 dayanim. Like the Gemara says, what happens if a person who's chayav malchus? Again, I said last week, if the shliach bezdin gives an added lash that he wasn't warranted, so then what? Then he has to go to galus. Then the shliach bezdin is in big trouble. That actually is the source. I said last week, what's the source that I can't punch Adi in the face? So I said, in Svara, it would be stupid because he would, But I said exactly. But what's the Isser? So the Isser actually is from Bezdin. Since the Torah said, there's no Isser in the Torah called don't hit your friend. There's no Isser like that. The Torah says Pen Yosef. Maybe Bezdin will give an extra lash, an extra hit. So Chazal learned from there. That's a source that a stam person can't hit. That's the source. That's actually the Isser in the Torah. So Tosfos says, but if he was cheshbon that he could hack it, he's tough enough. And what happens if Nebuchadnezzar dies?
So the Gemara says there, you're potter from Malkus. If Bezdin gave him extra last, from Golos, right. The Kasha l'shnei pirushin. Tosfos says, I don't like either of these pshatim. Why? The my parach I hachi umden alamli. Uperish hakuntras ikr. So Tosfos comes back to save Rashi's pshat, that Malkus must be one of the 5 categories of Misa, because why? I can't read the flow of the Gemara. Again, what's the flow of the Gemara? The flow of the Gemara is like this. Rava Amar, it's a svara, I don't need a pasuk. Malkus b'makom Misa omedes. That was the vague line in the Gemara that the Rishonim are climbing around and trying to figure out, scratching their heads, what is pshat in this Gemara? So Rashi says, really, you should have been killed for just going against the king. And Malkus is a 5th category Misa. Wow. Tosfos says, no, that's not pshat. Tosfos says, because by Bnei Noach they're killed. That's why Malkus B'makom Misa omedes. Then Tosfos has another pshat, and Tosfos says, no, because sometimes I've seen that a person can actually die from the actual Malkus. So Tosfos says, so then how do you read the Gemara weiter? So what does the Gemara say? If Malkus is b'makom Misa omedes, Amar Rav Acha b'rei d'Rav Rav Ashi, 6 lines up from the bottom, Ihachi umdin alamali lemichyei v'imayis lemus. What's the Gemara's kasha? If you're telling me Malkus is really b'makom Misa, frekt Rav Acha, so why do you have to take an umdina? Why does the Gemara Makkas tell us we have to cheshbin how many lashes this guy can take? How tough is this guy? How many he could suffer? And the Gemara says if he can't get all 39, then we're not going to give him all 39. So if so, why? Let him get what he can, and if he gets Misa, Adarabba. That's Kavona Satayra. Rabbi Yishmael says, Malkum Makum Misa Omedes. So Tosfos says, I don't understand. If you hold the pshat is what? Since by Bnei Noach, so then the Azhara sometimes gives Misa. So Tosfos says, so what's the Gemara's kasha? Adarabba. So let him get Misa. And if you're telling me that what? If you're telling me that what? Sometimes he dies. So okay, that's exactly what the plan is. Sometimes he's going to die. So what's the Gemara's kasha? So what's the Gemara's kasha? Ihachi umdin alamali. What do you mean? We don't want him to die. We just found that sometimes it happens to die. That's why we're going to call it Malkus Dachas Mido Omedes. And according to the first Prat, Tosfos, we're not downing Bnei Noach right now. So therefore what? So Tosfos is asking, of course you should need an umdina. Again, the Gemara says, Rava says, it's 23 dayanim. How do you know 23 dayanim? Because Malkus is a substitute for Misa. In fact, the Gemara Kashe, Malkus is a substitute for Misa, so why do you need an umdina? It's a good shak of a tire. The Gemara makes sense. Good. Says Tosfos, if you understand like Rashi, that Malkus is actually a substitute for Misa, a 5th category Misa, and this guy really deserves to die because he didn't listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now I can understand the Gemara's kasha. So now the Gemara says, so the whole umdina, let's throw out the window. But if you understand that what? Nah, there's a connection. Somehow we found a connection to Misa. What's the connection to Misa? Bnei Noach happened to get Misa for doing the same thing wrong. But by Jewish halacha, what do we want? We don't want the guy to die. We don't want chas v'sholom. Chalila. What's the Gemara's kasha, says Tosfos. Of course you need an umdina. And according to the second shot, practically, I've seen people that drop dead. So, okay, so do what you got. Do what you have to do to make sure that he doesn't die. What's the Gemara's kasha? It's apikorsis. Of course we don't want the guy to die. So that's Tosfos' problem. So therefore Tosfos says you have to say like Rashi. So what does the Gemara actually answer? Amar kra v'nikle achicha leinecha ki mochis agava dechayi mochis. The pasuk says, I'll tell you why you need an umdina. Because it says v'nikle achicha leinecha, and when you're going to give him Malkus, it has to be when he's still alive. Good? Good. So one has to ask the following question. What do we paskin la'alacha? How many dayanim do you need for Malkus? Anyone know here? We're in Rabbi Yishmael's shita. What's Tanakama shita? 3 dayanim. 3 dayanim, just like the Imamanis, you need 3 dayanim for Malkus. So in truth, everything that we've really discussed, one could say to me, is not la'alacha. Because it's all a discussion within Malkus b'makom Misa omedes to explain whose opinion? To explain Rabbi Yishmael's opinion. But the Rambam clearly did not hold to that. Because the Rambam writes, the second Rambam. Kashem mitzvah lahamis hasamachuyev misa. Just like it's an obligation on us to give misa to a person who's chayiv capital punishment to be put to death. Kach mitzvahs ese lahalkas hasamachuyev malchus. Shenemar v'yipilu hashopet v'yipilu lefanav. Va'afal pisha malchus b'shlosha, says the Rambam. And even though what? Lashes is with 3 dayanim, meaning the Rambam's paskening like Tanakama, not like Rabbi Yishmael. B'makom misa hiomedes. So the Rambam clearly held that even though this was a rationale that was brought within Rabbi Yishmael's opinion, this concept of b'makom misa omedes is something that's true no matter who you hold. And there is an entity of Malchus representing Misa, according to even the opinion that the Gemara is not discussing, even la'alacha. So whatever we discuss according to the Rambam is definitely relevant la'alacha. So what does the Rambam say? Let's see in Perek Hey Halacha Daled. Malchus. The Rambam says, I'm sorry. We just did Tezayin Aleph. Good. So now let's do here, let's do the Rambam in the beginning one, the fascinating Rambam. Rambam in the top. Keitzad Malkinus HaMechuyev Malchus, Perek Yud Zayin Halacha Aleph. How practically do you give Malchus? Kefi kocho shenemar kedei rishaso b'mispar. So the Gemara has a drasha Meseches Makos on Daf Chaf Beis. The Gemara tells us that you figure out a calculation that this guy can handle. How much could he handle? How much koyach does this guy have? V'zeh shenemar, and this is what the pasuk says: arboim, 40. She'ein mosifin al arboim. You don't add more than 40. That's the limit. Afilu hayachazak ubari kashimshin. Even if this guy is ripped like you can't even imagine. Aval poichsin l'shchalosh. But you should know that we reduce the amount for the person who's weak. She'im yake l'chalosh makaraba. Because if you're going to give him all 40, says the Rambam, bivadai hu meis. He's for sure going to die. Lefichach amru chachamim. Therefore, the rabbis said, sha'afilu habari biyoser, even the most healthiest of individuals, makin oso shloshim v'teisha, we give him 39. Shem Yosef lo achas nimtza shaloi ko el arbaim aru'uyas lo. Because if you give him too much, so then we're still going to be within the 40 that is still roi to him, and we kind of create a buffer in case we make a mistake. The Radvaz writes on this Rambam the following. First of all, did anyone find anything interesting in that language of the Rambam? Rambam says 39 and not 40, right? First of all, why does the Rambam have to do that? Because the Torah itself says arbaim yakenu, right? Torah it says arbaim yakenu. But what did the Rambam just say? Amru chachamim. From the simple reading of the Rambam, and this is a big tumult in the Nosei Kalim and the Rambam. From the simple reading in the Rambam, it sounds like Midrabanan is 39. But Minat Torah, it's not 39, it's 40. And I'll prove it to you. Not only because the Rambam just said Amru Chachamim, because the Rambam says the reason why we give him 39 is because if we slip up, he'll still be within the 40 that is roi for him, that is fit for him. And the Rambam holds that if a Dayan gives an extra lash, that's the way the Radvaz learns the Rambam. I told you that if the Dayan gives you an extra lash, what happens to the Dayan? He goes to Golus. He's in big trouble. He's in big trouble. So what does the Rambam say? But not if it's 39 or 40. Maybe if he goes from 40, he gives him 45, or he gives him 41. But he goes from 39 to 40, that's all within the realm of what he actually deserved, which fits very well with the read of the Rambam, that 39 is actually the Rabbana. But I have another problem with the Rambam. The Rambam says, Aval pochsin lechalosh, the end of the second line, we reduce the number for a weaker man, Shem yaka lechalosh makarabba, because if we're going to give him all, bivadai hu meis. What does it mean, bivadai hu meis? Certainly he's going to die. What bothers you, Adi, about certainly he's going to die?
Who knows? What? How do you know?
Ask even better. What? And let's say, let's say even if it was, let's say there was a number that it was Safek Humes. Sounds like the Rambam's only concerned at a number Bevadai Humes. What happened to Safek Pikuach Nefesh? What happened to a question? The Rambam should say, I'm not going to give him anything extra that I have a question about him dying.
You're already engaging in this corporal punishment. I'm saying, like.
But what happened to Pikuach Nefesh?
I'm saying it's once you enter this, it's something to go.
My question. I agree with your dig. So my question is like this: I'm giving right now. I have a cheshbon over here. Okay, happens to be you always need to have makos that is divisible by 3 because you have to split up the makos like that. It always has to be a number. Let's say if he gets 20, if they shots him up. By the way, this is fascinating. The Stei Chemed asks when he reads the Rambam. He says, "Where are these doctors? Who's doing this umdana? Where are all the physical therapists? Where are the people that are shotzing up what this guy can take?" Says the Stei Chemed, apparently the Dayanim were knowledgeable, as the Rambam says that they're knowledgeable in refuah, and they had the ability to shots up how much this guy can handle. They actually knew medicine to that extent, and that's the way this umdana was done. So now I have a question. I think Eitan's 100% right, but I have a question, Eitan. We have a scenario like this. We shots him up for 18. 18 is how many he could take, okay? 18, I'm sorry, if he takes 19, he's bevade gonna die, okay? 18, I think, is a 50-50 chance. So now, I'm asking just la'alacha. You would say, according to your reading the Rambam, you would say, give it.
No, give him 15.
Give him the malchus.
No, that's
Give
not
him
the
18.
problem. What if you slip
But-
one, like in the goal?
But that's what I have a question, but that's what Eitan's saying, and I think he's right.
Doesn't say.
I think he's right.
Doesn't say.
So let's continue in the Rambam. I'll show you in another Rambam.
You can't say give 15, maybe 15 is a 10% chance he'll die. It's still suffering.
So I'm agreeing. What about 10%? Anytime that it's a valid suffix that he's going to die. Look at the Rambam in Parakei Halacha Dalet, which Mori knew was such a chashav Rambam. He brought it twice in the Marmar Kaimis. 3 and 4. Makis b'shloisha, the afal pi she'efsher she'yamis kishemalkinoso. Moirav Rabbi Isai, the Rambam just said explicitly, Ardiak, exactly what Eitan just said. He said it explicitly. The makos are with 3, and what's he being apologetic for? And I'm not going to require 23, even though efsher she'yamis kishemalkinoso. Even though it's very possible that he's going to die. So I have another question on this Rambam. What happened to the halacha on Mechal Shabbos? Someone comes over to me on Shabbos and says, Rabbi, he's going to be okay, but I'm just not 100% sure. Get in the car and be Mechal Shabbos. Safik Pikuach Nefesh is Doicha Kol Torah Kula. Why isn't it Doicha Malkis? Rabbi Isai, my suffix is, what is the purpose of the umdana that we give this person? The Briskerov in Nazir has this suffix. Frek the Briskerov. This din that you have a din of an umdana, that the Dayanim, that we're now proving the Dayanim went to medical school, that the Dayanim know refuah, that they know how to judge how much this guy can handle. What's the purpose of the umdana? Until now, until this sugya, I always thought that the umdana was the regular halacha of what? Pikuach nefesh. You can't kill the guy. It's halacha of malchus. You can't kill the guy. And it's an umdana that what? That's not even going to be a suffix pikuach nefesh. You better shots up this guy with your refuah knowledge, with your medical knowledge, these dayanim, that I am now going to give him the amount and the number that I'm not even going to get within the possibility of a suffix pikuach nefesh that I would be mechal Shabbos for. So I'll give him 3. I'll play it safe. You're right. With an old guy, I'll play it very safe. Fine. But don't get into that possibility. That's the umdana. Says the Briskerov, is that clear? Says Rav Zolti in these Rambams, apparently that's not the way the Rambam learned. The umdana is halacha in the Malkus. It's a Gzeres HaKosav that you have to give an umdana. What's the umdana? The umdana is that he shouldn't bevadai be killed from the Malkus. But you want to know a question? What's another example, or one example, that suffix pikuach nefesh doesn't apply to? I have one area of halacha to answer that question. Yarg Val Yavor even Vadei Pikuach Nefesh. This area of halacha, Vadei Pikuach Nefesh is doche, but Safek Pikuach Nefesh is not doche. The Rambam is telling us a fascinating halacha over here. Malkus b'makom misa omedes, you know what that means? You should put yourself in the possibility of dying. This is not a halacha of just, we have to give Malkus. There is a halacha over here is that no, I have to give Malkus, she'efsher she'yomus me'a Malkus. That it's possible that he'll die. And it just is an umdana that it shouldn't be what? Bevada yomus. That's the person of the umdana. Why? Because then it's not Malkus, then it's Misa. That's not Malkus. But the umdana was not driven by Pikuach Nefesh. Unbelievable halacha. We don't care about the safety of this individual. He deserves Malkus. Yet what? We can't have Vadai Misa, because then it's not Malkus anymore. So that's the Mechai of the Umdana. Whereas what I thought beforehand, and I think many other Rishonim will say, the Umdana, it's Hatzalah. It's to make sure that you're not going to be a right Seyach over here. You have to deliver Malkus. Says the Rambam, no. The halacha of V'chai Bohem of Safik Pikuach Nefesh does not apply to Malkus. It might apply to Shabbos, it doesn't apply to Malkus. And you should put yourself in a matzav that's going to be Doicha Safik Pikuach Nefesh. Fascinating Kiddush, where the Rambam said. And therefore, the Rambam just says, all you need an umdana for, that it shouldn't be Vavad Hashemus. Yeah.
You don't have to learn it this way. If you go back to Halacha Aleph, where he says, Makarabba, he's discussing like 40, 39 or 40. So he's taking a chalash.
Yeah.
And he said, if you give him a makarabba like you give to the
right.
to the shimshon, then bavada you may.
Right.
That's logical. So he's not talking about giving him 18 or 15, saying giving him all 39.
But if the Rambam, what Eitan's saying, if the Rambam held that you're not even allowed to give him a number that would be suffix, you should tell me that. That's a bigger chiddush. The Rambam's saying something that the Rambam should tell me more. The Rambam's telling you, no, I can't give him exactly what you said. I can't give him the makarabba. That's going to be bevada yamas. But if you're only in suffix categories, don't have that same response, Rabbi, as you would on Shabbos in the world of Malkus.
Stop there. Saying you want to me so on this, you must need the suffix. If you would have badas that he wasn't going to die, you don't say you were
right. So now this just brought an unbelievable. Not only did we just prove that the Rambam's saying even with 3, but again, the Rashi is within the Manda Amar rules 23. The Rambam is the one who says that rationale is also within 3. That's true. That's true. Right. Right.
To put someone to
good,
death.
Good. So now let's take that. Now let's answer Taisus Kasha again. Let's answer Taisus Kasha. So let's just continue one more. Just make a few more aris in the Rambam. This is an idea that Reb Zolti develops in his Mishnas Yavitz, and he proves it from 2 other more places. The Rambam in Parak Yud Zayin Halacha Beis. The Rambam says, the last Rambam on the sheet. Like I told you. You have to have a number that's divisible by 3. They split up Malkus with 1 from the front and 2 from the back, and it always has to be divisible by 3. Amduhu, they gave him a cheshbon, they calculated, sheyachal lekabel esrim, ein omrim yilke esrim va'achas, kedei sheyu yichol nishtalish. Ela yilke shmein esrei. Says the Rambam, don't give him up, give him down. So he doesn't have it on here, but there's a small Lechem Mishnah on this Rambam. The small Lechem Mishnah says, I'm going to read it to you, very short Lechem Mishnah. Zed davar nachon upashit. This is so simple. Why does Rambam even have to tell me this? Because maybe he's going to die. So says the Lechem Mishnah, like, Rambam, why are you wasting my time? Like, of course you're not going to give him extra when you're talking about a weak guy that actually might kill. So the Rambam's telling you, in Halachos Yud Zayin Beis, don't kill this guy. Shkoyach. I learned Hilchos Ritzicha. What? That doesn't apply to Bezin. He's Chayim Mal. Rabbi Yisai. No, according to the Rambam, makes a lot of sense. The Rambam holds Malkus should be Misa applicable. And you should be in the realm of Misa. So the Rambam felt the Shitasa, there's a Chiddush. Don't go up, go down. Now I have to tell you, don't go down. You would have had a Havamina to even go up. Because it's Efshar Shiyamas. That's Shitas HaRambam in Ochos Malkus. Yeah, Dave. Yeah. That's, yeah.
It's still not a vadai, right?
Right. It's still not a vadai. So says the Rambam, maybe you would even thought to go up. Kamash Balan, don't go down.
General question. We just said that you're supposed to give 40 lashes, but we give 39 in case they may make a mistake.
Yeah.
if the diameter calculate, the Umdana says you can tolerate 20.
20.
Do you give him 19? Because if you have
You give him 18 because it can't be divisible by 3.
right, but I'm just okay, fine.
Yeah.
Let's say the Umdana said 18.
18.
All right. So if they say okay, he can tolerate 18 because at 19 he may die.
Right.
So the same way that we give 39 because we may make a calculation error at 40.
Right.
Are we concerned with a calculation error if we determine the Yonah says 18, then we only give you 17 just to be.
No,
That's
no.
for the market.
Right.
No,
It's
that's
a
for
good
the
point.
market.
It's a good point. You should always have, according to the Rambam's rationale, you should always have a buffer. That's what you're pointing out.
Why?
Yeah,
No,
I hear
but-
that.
Right.
No, but I don't think this is the case.
Why not?
I think the 39 is the buffer for the market, so we won't go to the gullet. Here, if he kills him, he's patu.
If he goes to 19, he's not butter.
If he made a mistake, he's going to give an extra.
Why is he
lash.
butter? He gave him an extra lash.
Yeah, but it's not you're not beyond the.
Yeah, you are.
the
Yeah, you are. The cutoff. No, if a
No,
person,
What happened if he gives him 19
Yeah.
and he doesn't die?
a guy has
Yeah,
18,
yeah.
and you give an extra lash,
Yeah.
you have to go to Golos. Even though you're within
If
40.
you give the 41.
No. If they made an umdana that this guy is sick,
So he's
he
dead.
can only get 18. I have to go to Golos.
Oh, for an umdana, you have to go to gullet.
Yeah, that's his malchus. That's his malchus. That's very connected, Sid, to the question you asked a few weeks ago. Sid asked me the question: if a person, when we learn in the sugya of hazama, if a person got hazama, but the kasher zamam was to a guy who can only handle 18, and the Edom that lied, that were kasher zamam, they're young guys. They're young, good, fresh liars. They're ready. They just started cheating on their taxes. They just started on their lying mahalach. So they can get 39. So Sid asked me, do they get kasher zamam of the 18? Interesting suffix. Or do they get the 40, so the 39? So I think they get the 39 because that's really right what you get. Right, malchus is malchus, exactly, yeah.
The 40 down to 39 is not because of the suffix misa, it's because of the suffix that the person giving the makos shouldn't give extra one.
That's what I said.
Right,
That's what I said.
Right.
So if the base din calculates 18 is what he can take.
Shem Yosef lo achas nimtza shalohiku el arbar maru'uyis lo. That the guy who gave it is still safe.
Right, so let's say the guy is very strong like Shimshon,
Right.
So he can, and they
No, then-
they give him an umdana for 40.
For four,
You give him 39.
yeah,
Right?
right,
If they give him an umdana for more than 40.
right. No, there's a cutoff. Right.
So,
If you give him the umdana for 18, it's not a question of misa, it's a question of you don't want to give him extra than 40.
If you give him an umdana for 18,
Then it's a suffix misa. At
right,
18,
right,
you shouldn't have to go down to 15 because it's still a suffix at that point.
right, correct. But no,
So that's the answer to the question. It's not. The question was if you give him an umdana for 18, you should go down.
Right.
Give him a buffer.
Right.
The buffer is not for misa for the person getting makos. The buffer is for the person giving the makos. So you shouldn't give more.
but
than 40.
the I hear what you're saying. But the problem is the halacha is if they shots me up for 18, and I gave 19, I go to Golos. So that's what Sid was asking. So
I
then
think I thought
yeah.
that the 40 is like the.
No, that it was only kavua. But no, the halacha is that I would go to malchus. Even that's his malchus. That's his malchus, and that becomes like over 40 for another person.
So what is the buffer then?
So that's Sid's kasha. I don't know. That's a good question.
So what, you go down to 15?
There's no buffer.
No, there is no buffer. He's asking
No
why.
buffer.
No, there's no buffer. No, we leave it.
You have a problem here, so I
Yeah.
don't want to. I'll confuse it.
Right.
You know,
It sounds like the Rambam's
something is, you
this
know-
whole the first Rambam is a big chiddush. The pashtus is that there's a din deraisa. It says arboim. The Russian Maseches Menachos, when he's talking about Sfira, you have the same problem with Sfira. The Torah says Tisperu Chamishim Yom, right? But it's not true. We don't count 50 days. See what the Rush says? Certain times the Rebbeinu Shalom in the Torah gave even numbers. He says 50 days. He says, what's the example? Says the Rush. I'll give you an example. Malchus, the Rebbeinu Shalom said Arboim Yakenu. He didn't mean Arboim Yakenu. He meant 39. What's the proof? The Gemara Makis. Chazal saw in the words of the Torah that it really meant 39. It should be Makis Aruyi Lishlalosh. The Rush is clearly, and most of the Rishonim are clearly not buying into this Rambam, that the 39 is a buffer, is a safety net, is a derabanan. It's midaraisa. 40 is not true. And of course you would go to Gullus for 40.
There is a solution for that.
Yeah.
Actually, practical solution
Yeah.
that you can take. Even though it needs to divide by 3, let's say the guy really can take, whatever. Let's say 20, you round it up back to
18.
18 and then you say, no, we decide that what he can get is 19, right?
No, the
He can
Gemara.
still
There's
give
another
8,
Gemara. The
but
Gemara
you still
Makkas.
but they still give 18.
The Gemara Makkas says even while they're this could happen all the time. The Gemara Makkas says what happens if they shots him up? They say this guy's shvach, and then as he's going lashes, you see this guy's got some stamina. This guy's got he could really hack it. Let's rough him up. The Gemara says once they made an umdana potter. The Gemara says
but they made the umdana for 19 and they give him 18.
and they gave him 18.
So you can protect the guy that gives
No,
the
so
lashes.
once you get the umdana,
You say umdana,
and then you gave 19, and then you gave 19.
No, I gave 18 because I need to round it by 3.
Right.
And then
you add 1 by accident.
Yes, and then you're still okay.
Right.
So you protect again.
Right,
I'm saying it's
right,
protecting.
right. I hear.
Because now we have no buffer
Right,
for the
right,
market,
right,
for
right,
the
right.
market.
Doesn't it have to be divisible by 3?
Yes, no. What I'm saying, it is divisible by 3.
No, but what happens if the umdana is 18? That's his kasha.
So what happens if
So
if
he
the
wants to
umdana
say,
is
do you go
18?
down to
Okay,
15?
yeah,
That's the kasha. Yeah.
Now, suppose the guy is strong like Shimshon. He supposed to get 39 lashes. If we give him 18 only, do you think he's going to have fun? It's still no fun. You'll be sick for 2 weeks.
Right.
So
Right.
he's going to learn his lesson no
Right.
matter what.
Right. 100%.
So,
100%.
why not just go easy on him? Scare him and then give him, reduce him up.
Right. That's the purpose. The purpose is to change his ways. That's the purpose. Rabbi Isai, where did the Rambam get this whole idea? This is the most fascinating point. Where did the Rambam get this from? What is Taisus Kasha? Taisus Kasha was very similar to the Rambam Shita. There's one opinion that says sometimes he might die. Sometimes he might die. So then Taisus asked the Kasha, if that's the pshat, that sometimes we've seen possibly that he dies, so why did the Gemara ask the Kasha, so why do you need an umdana? That was Taisus Kasha, and that's what Taisus had to throw out all the other pshatim, and Rashi is the only viable pshat. Rabbi Yisai, who answered Taisus Kasha? The Rambam with this brand new Yesod now answered Taisus Kasha. The Rambam just told us what? That the purpose of Makos is to what? Is to taka be within the realm of possibility that the outcome might be that what? You're actually going to die. And Pikuach Nefesh does not apply to where? To Dine Malkis. How did the Rambam know such an idea? Where did the Rambam get that from? The Rambam learned it from our Gemara. The Gemara introduced this idea, this newfound idea that the Rambam's paskening, even according to the way we pasken with 3 dayanim, Malkus b'mokom misa omedes. Frek the Gemara, kashe, imkain, why do you even need an umdana? So Taisus says, why do you need an umdana? What happened to Pikuach Nefesh? You don't actually want to kill the guy. You don't actually want to hurt the guy. The Rambam saw in that Gemara's kasha that what? That you actually need to trump Pikuach Nefesh. Safek Pikuach Nefesh. The umdana is not to tell you that Pikuach Nefesh. The umdana is to tell you that it shouldn't be Vadai Sheyamos. But from the fact that the Gemara even entertained the possibility that we wouldn't need an umdana, that's where we're suggesting that Malchus is even getting into the category of possibly killing him. And when the Gemara quotes a pasuk to tell me that I can't just throw out the umdana, he needs to be alive because the purpose of Makos is that he should be chai. V'nikla achicha leinecha. The Gemara wasn't backing out from its idea of what Makos tachas misa omedes. All the Gemara was telling me it was what? That I shouldn't bevadai kill him. That I have to make sure that that he's still going to be alive, probably or possibly. If you vadai kill him, then you're just mamish doing misa. But what are you not backing out from, says the Rambam? You're not backing out at all from the fact that the Rambam is holding Malchus, is taking into a serious possibility that we are not going to consider Pikuach Nefesh, and that's exactly what we saw from the Gemara, and that's exactly the answer that Tosfos has on all the other Rishonim. The Rambam answered that through his analysis in Makos Tachas Misa Omedes. Yeshikoyach, yeah.
What about Makos Mardas? What are the Gedarim?
Oh, excellent. So in that Brisker Rav, in Nazir, the Brisker Rav is good for discussing that. The Brisker Rav has a possibility that Makos Mardas might be worse. You don't even need an umdana, and until this guy decides to stop rebelling, you keep on going. You keep on going.
It's not. It's based enough one. And you don't even need.
Yeah. You wouldn't need the other halachas. It's not Kain Daraisa at all, and it's just as long as he's rebelling, we keep on going. But that's a machlokes rishonim. But that's part of the Brisker Rav. Brisker Rav wanted to know: do you have umdana when it comes to Makos Mardas?